All right, so let's get right into it. You've probably seen some clips floating around from this huge music concert in Las Vegas that have just blown up online. But it really wasn't about the music. No, it was what they were showing on the screens that has kicked off this massive debate, and today, we're going to break down a viral source that claims it knows exactly what's going on.
And that brings us right to the heart of the matter, the big question this source is trying to answer. Why are we suddenly seeing concert backdrops shift from, fun, colorful lights to imagery that looks like it's been pulled straight from the underworld?
So, to really get a handle on this perspective, we're going to walk through it piece by piece. We'll kick things off with the event that started this whole conversation, then dive into the theory it's proposing, the so-called proof, what it claims the ultimate goal is, and finally, the message it leaves viewers with.
Okay, so this whole argument really starts with this one recent event in Las Vegas. It happened at this unbelievable high-tech venue called the Sphere. And if you haven't seen it, this building is basically a gigantic screen, inside and out. It's a totally immersive experience.
The source points out some really specific imagery from that night. While the music was playing, the screens apparently showed the entire Earth cracking open, with these oceans of fire just pouring out. And if that wasn't enough, this was followed by these massive, screaming human skulls, and then what the source describes as a giant burning red door, calling it the Gate of Hell, opening up for everyone in the audience.
Now, the point being made here is that this wasn't just a one-off shock tactic. The source argues that this event signals a huge fundamental change in what live concerts are becoming, creating this really drastic contrast with what we used to expect.
And this right here really shows you the stark difference they're talking about. On one side, you have the kind of concert we all know. Colorful lights, good vibes, it's all about the fun and the music. But on the other side, you have what this perspective is calling the new concert experience, which it claims is filled with terrifying visuals, themes of hell and fire, and all these satanic symbols and skulls.
So this leads to the real core of the argument. It begs the question, are all these different artists and huge events just coincidentally deciding to use this dark, edgy aesthetic at the exact same time? Or is there something bigger, maybe something more coordinated, happening behind the scenes?
And this is where the source drops its main theory. It suggests that these changes aren't random at all. Instead, they're part of a very deliberate, planned movement that it calls the New World Order, or a satanic agenda.
You've probably heard that term, New World Order, thrown around before. But what does this source actually mean by it? Well, in their view, it's a secret plan to completely dismantle traditional religion and morality. The alleged goal is to replace all of that with one single global system, a system that this perspective claims is built on satanic principles.
And a really key part of the argument is this belief that the agenda isn't a secret anymore. The viewpoint is that the people behind it have stopped hiding what they're doing. Now they're openly and even proudly displaying all these symbols and themes on the world's biggest stages for everyone to see.
Okay, so if that's the theory, how is this agenda supposedly getting pushed on people? Well, the video points to a handful of alleged methods and what it considers to be proof, evidence that this plan is actually in motion.
The video brings up a bunch of examples that it interprets as signs, arguing they're more than just fashion or art. Things like celebrities constantly being photographed covering one eye, or using those triangle-shaped hand gestures, or even song lyrics where singers literally say they sold their soul to the devil. And of course, the huge rise in fashion with symbols like snakes and skulls.
But the theory goes even deeper than just visible symbols. It presents this idea of psychological manipulation happening at these concerts. The claim is that the super intense combination of loud music and flashing lights is designed to put the audience into a kind of trance, which lowers the conscious defenses and makes their subconscious mind wide open to absorbing hidden messages.
And to argue that this is a global movement, not just something happening in the West, the video brings up other examples. One big one was a controversial concert that was planned near the pyramids of Egypt. The source points out that locals protested it because they were afraid the event was actually meant for performing satanic rituals, not just for music.
So, if we follow this logic all the way through, where is this supposed to be heading? What is the alleged endgame of this whole so-called agenda?
This perspective lays out four main goals. Number 1, get rid of all existing religions. Number 2, replace them with a single global religion of humanity, which is framed as just another form of self-worship. 3, desensitize young people to the idea of evil, basically making things like hell and Satan seem cool or trendy. And finally, to openly mock sacred symbols from different faiths.
And the argument is very, very specific about who the main target is: young people between the ages of 15 and 25. The reasoning is that this group is seen as the most impressionable, and they're also the biggest consumers of the music, media, and fashion that are supposedly being used to push these ideas.
So, after laying out this entire theory, from the shocking visuals at concerts all the way to the alleged endgame, how does the video wrap things up? Well, it ends with a call for awareness.
The video leaves us with this pretty powerful final warning. It suggests that the biggest danger of all is just becoming indifferent. The moment a society gets so desensitized that it can't even recognize evil anymore, well, in this view, that's when the collapse begins. But the final message here isn't about fear or panic. Instead, viewers are just urged to be aware of the content they're consuming, to strengthen their own personal faith and beliefs, and to reconnect with their traditional cultural and spiritual roots as a kind of defense. Which leaves us with the central question that this source material puts on the table. Are we all just witnessing a new, maybe darker form of artistic expression in our entertainment, something designed to shock and provoke? Or, as this source argues, is there a much more calculated, hidden agenda at play? That's the perspective we wanted to break down for you today.
Like and subscribe.